This actual training today that I'm going to be sharing with you was actually when I was sitting at the Singapore event. Danny Bay did a leadership training at the Singapore event, and I was just grabbing notes, sitting on the edge of my chair. I had my journal there, and it brought me back because I remember, this was a training that I had heard him do in 2000 and probably 2004. And I love whenever there's like trainings that stand the test of time, right? No matter what year, no matter what it is, it's like certain fundamentals never really change. So I think today you guys will get some great value out of this. And I know right now everybody's sending out those reminders, to get everybody, all their team leaders dialed in here today. But I'm just going to dive into it because I'm going to start with a couple announcements that I think will help everybody, and a lot of this stuff, obviously the majority of you already know. Right. It's going to be like, obviously, Tim, I know these announcements. I don't know why you share them. But for me, I'm the type of person I like to get like stuff at the forefront of my brain, So and just kind of, a lot of success, is not so much about new information, it's about reminders. But there's so many exciting things happening right now this month. And, this is a moment in time right now with the unilevel starting this month. Let me see if I can try it again. Let me try to do this again. But with the unilevel starting right now, this is the month right now where we really want to make sure that, geez, what is going on here? I am struggling. I'm on the struggle bus today. See if I can get this done here. Okay, slideshow. But with the unilevel starting, this is the month right now where, we're already seeing it through the volume right now is absolutely going bananas. I'm sure many of you are experiencing it right now. We're just watching the volume this month really start very, very, very strong. And the reason being is because we're starting to create that culture where everybody's unlocking that unilevel. And I'm so excited about this because I think one of the things, we all are leaders on this call. You guys are all the best, in North America. And really, if you're the best in North America, hey, we're the best in the world. I know somebody probably is on the call from Singapore or something. They're like, hey, I heard that. But you guys, it's like, this is where it all started, right? So we've got to cut that upper advantage. But the fact of the matter is, when you look at creating this culture, of getting everybody to unlock that unilevel right now, that's what we're experiencing this massive growth. So just a couple updates on this stuff, and then we'll get into the training. But I really recommend you try to get as much of this information as possible, because this stuff today that we're going to be teaching, it really is timeless, right? And everybody knows right now we're unlocking the unilevel. And today I want to show you a slide that I really enjoy, and I want to break it down just a little bit more for everybody, because I know everybody right now is really wrapping their head around, geez, man, I'm over here pushing buttons way too fast. That's what I'm going to show you that I'm excited about. But let me just go back real quickly. And I want to just kind of basically, my goodness, you guys are I'm going to be in real big trouble here, being the substitute teacher today, not be able to figure out my PowerPoint. But anyways, you guys know how the unilevel works. Obviously, we got to get 1,000 SP. And I love the fact that it's a goal, right? We're all leaders. We all set goals. And I think that's the biggest thing that people need, right? It's like, what's a good goal for people to have, right? And I think 1,000 SP is a really good starting point. I think that's a really good starting point for everybody, right? Everybody knows on this call, if you're a planner and you do a couple pop-ups, you're going to get 1,000 in SP. So it's not like we're asking somebody to do, 2,000 or 2,000 I think would be great too, but we're not asking somebody to do 5,000 in sales or anything like that. 1,000 in personal SP, I think, is a very good goal for everybody. It's very achievable, very doable. And I think everybody's got to have a goal to reach for. So I love the fact that there's a goal attached to this that has to do with personal requirements, because we want to get everybody in the habit of getting personal sales, right? Getting personal customers, because that's, when you look at our comp plan, that's how people really make extraordinary income. And once somebody starts doing 1,000 on a consistent basis, obviously they're going to be able to do, much more. And when you look at this slide, under senior manager, I want to make sure everybody understands, because I get this question a lot, and I know most of you, obviously the majority of you understand this, but where it says 1,000 SP or 3,000 SP and 30 customers. So if somebody has 30 lifetime customers and 3,000 in personal SP, and say they're a manager or a planner, they actually get to participate in that senior manager unilevel, right? So they actually can unlock all 5 of those levels. And obviously, if somebody's a team leader, you guys all know, right? We just need 1,000 SP, boom, we unlock all 6 levels. But if somebody's a senior manager, a manager, or planner, if they have a 5,000 in personal SP and 50 customers, they can unlock all 6 levels too as well. Sometimes we don't highlight that a lot because of, when you're presenting to a potential, a brand new planner or something like that, potential planner or somebody that's about to get started, sometimes, too much information obviously overwhelms them. So a lot of times we don't talk too much about that in the presentation, but it's good for all of us to be aware of, mainly when we're going through compensation plan training for people. It's exciting that they have that available. But I want to highlight this point here because I had somebody go, what the heck does all this mean? But you guys all know in our differential payout that we have, which, is exactly like it was obviously the last few months, this unilevel is an added piece on top of it. So it's a huge, huge pay raise for all of us. But everybody knows, right? When a senior manager sponsors a new planner, they make 20%, right, of whatever that new planner sells or buys, right, of their personal volume. But on top of that, now, when they unlock that unilevel, they're going to make an additional 5% on not just their planners, but everybody. But this example shows planners, right? So that would be 25% on planners. Now, obviously, if a senior manager sponsors a senior manager, they only make 5% of that first level senior manager sales. So in this, and with the pay plan, they'd get 5% plus an additional 5%. So obviously there's a lot more money available, but on level 2, senior managers, as we all know, if a planner sponsors a planner, that's level 2, right? Planner 1, planner 2, that senior manager would make 5%, right? As being the upline senior manager, right? That open line 5%, but now they're going to earn an additional 5%. And on that generation 3, if a planner sponsors a planner, we all know through the compensation plan that senior manager is going to get that 5% open line volume that they get. Plus, they're going to get on that third level. Now they get an additional 3. So now they're at 8%. And the same thing would happen on the 4th level. And then on the 5th level, obviously, if it's a planner, they're still going to make that 5% open line as well. But this is just kind of comparing and adding to obviously the unilevel, right? So as you guys all know, as team leaders and higher, right? If we're a team leader, we sponsor a brand new planner. We all know that we get 30% of whatever that planner sells or buys, right? On their personal volume. And obviously now we get 30 plus 5%. So now we're at 35%. And if a planner sponsors a planner, just like we talked about earlier with the senior manager, we know as a team leader, we get 25% of that on our open line differential, right? So you take that 25%, add it to the 5%. Now we obviously, as team leaders, we get 30%. And then on that level 3, right, if a planner sponsors a planner, we get 25%, okay? And then that additional 3% would equate to 28%, right? And this obviously, this 25, this 30 and 25 for team leaders, this is showing obviously planners. We all know that if we have a manager, the manager is going to get 20%. If we sponsor a manager, that manager gets 20% of whatever they sell or buy. And then we're going to get that 20% as well, right? So everybody kind of clearly knows the compensation plan, but I love the way this looks because when I share with people the compensation plan, I love to show people the power of that differential payout, which is remarkable. And then highlighting on top of that, how we just got this additional raise for our unilevel pay, right? So this is extraordinary. And this is one of the biggest pay raises I've ever seen in my time in direct sales. I mean, this is a major pay increase and this is an exciting moment. But the key is we've got to create that culture at the very beginning of everybody unlocking that 1,000 points, right? So I love the fact that this unilevel, this bonus right now, this promotion really rewards that activity that we want to drive. Right now, everybody's primary focus is one thing and one thing alone. That's getting people to be eligible to take advantage of the unilevel, right? To participate in that unilevel. So this promotion, understand it's for senior managers, and planners. And somebody says, wait a second, Tim, I'm a team leader. Why are we even talking about this then? You and I both know, right? The more money that we can help our team make, the more money that we're going to make. I mean, that's the magic of our business. And since we get already so much money at the team leader, they put this together for people to drive at those earlier ranks. And I love it too, because a lot of times, as team leaders and higher, we've been, some months we get those momentum bonuses. Last month, they doubled the momentum bonuses and all the senior managers like, oh, that's great for you guys. And all the planners like, oh, that's great for you guys. You know what I mean? But you and I both know if we take care of that guy, the brand new planner, we take care of that brand new senior manager, that brand new manager, that's how we're going to make this extraordinary incomes, right? That we all obviously are excited about. So if anybody that helps 3 personally sponsored planners, whether they're brand new or existing, that's magical. Existing planners can participate in this. But if a planner, manager, or a senior manager helps 3 people unlock their first 2 levels, bam, they earn a $100 bonus, right? And they can do that unlimited times. So some of our senior managers, some of our managers, some of our planners, they sponsored a lot of people. And if we can get everybody in the habit of unlocking that unilevel, and getting that 1,000 in personal SP, that's really where that magic's going to take place. And then obviously tier 2, if you help, obviously 3 people unlock 4 levels of that unilevel, right? Obviously for managers and senior managers and planners, they're going to earn a $300 bonus. And obviously they help anybody. They help 3 people unlock that 6 levels. 3 people, that's 1,000. And all these promotions, all these bonuses that you guys, these are available for everybody, right? So the reason why, when you look at that level 6, oh geez, how the heck did I do that? Anyways, let me just, I don't not know what I just did. I know probably Scott Allen's like, I know what you did. But let me just real quickly, let me, oh my goodness, I'm making it even worse. Let me go back for a second. Because when you look at that tier 3 bonus, a lot of you are like, wait a second, how does that even work, right? How can I even get that? But I have to, oh my goodness. Okay. And I stopped sharing. I'm a really bad substitute teacher today. I apologize. But just realize, I want to just highlight this because this is very critical to understand that this promotion, when you remember what I told you earlier about unlocking, remember this promotion that the promotion is important, because I thought that people are like, how do I help people get that 1,000, right? How do I help people get that 1,000? My goodness. How's that even possible, right? That means, they got to be team leaders. Don't forget, remember, if somebody gets 5,000 personal SP and 50 customers, lifetime customers, they unlock that 6 levels. Do you guys get that? So people have been asking me, Tim, how can a senior manager or a manager or planner help 3 people unlock 6 levels? Well, if somebody gets started and let's say they generate 5,000 in personal SP that first month, and a lot of times that's easy for new planners, mainly if they're getting started at the bigger packages, we can help 3 people unlock that 5,000, right? I mean, it's not over the top unthinkable, right? Because if a new planner gets started and let's say they get a couple bigger packages or whatever the case may be, a lot of times we see people that first month, because they're qualifying for senior manager, generate that 5,000 SP. So make sure you understand that if somebody unlocks, it can be a planner that gets 5,000 SP and 50 customers, lifetime customers, they unlock those 6 levels. So people are asking me, how do I earn that $1,000 promotion, Tim? It doesn't make sense how that's possible. How can I do that? Well, obviously it has to do with that 5,000 SP and 50 customers, right? So a lot of you guys now can clearly see how that $1,000 bonus can be generated. So I wanted to make sure to kind of spend a little bit of time with you guys as leaders on that. I know majority of you know that already, but I do like to make sure everybody's on the same page. So that's really important to understand about this promotion. So that tier 3, that's how that can happen. Okay. Because some people are like, is that even possible to create 3 team leaders? It's not the 3 team leaders. It's the 5,050 customers that if you help 3 people do that $1,000 bonus is available. So just realize that's how that works. It's very exciting for mainly people that are senior managers running for obviously the team leader rank. And obviously you guys all know these are some important kind of definitions: lifetime customers, anybody that enrolls as a customer, regardless of start date. And obviously a calendar month is basically exactly what it seems, right? So I don't think that we need to spend much time on that. Everybody knows we're doing they're going to be checking the inventory, the audits that are going on. So shipping on the 23rd and 24th, 26th and 27th is going to be paused. Going to be back on the 25th and the 30th. So that's going on. We all know about that. And obviously you guys all know the product promotions, obviously the same with auto ships. The starter kits are very exciting this month because we got a couple different premium options available. People love that option. And then we got the starter kit plus, and then obviously the 3 options available at that 300-point package that we've got, right? That smaller package. So this is the same thing going on in Canada. We all know this as obviously team leaders and higher. So I'm not going to spend much time on that. We know the product university is going on right now. We've got events that are going on. And obviously the big event that we're all promoting for is what? Obviously, the roadmap. But the Cabo retreat, you guys all know about this. Anybody that was there, the pictures that are available are beautiful. If you've got team members that were there, maybe for whatever reason you weren't there, or maybe you were brand new and didn't qualify, it's good to look at the pictures and see how much fun everybody had. And those pictures are available for everybody to download. And I love the fact the videos are there as well. So make sure you get that. The big one that everybody's running for, mainly on this call, is obviously Jeju Island, right? We're all running for that. We know how that works. There's obviously different tiers available for people to qualify for: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. That's available. We know about that. And the other thing right now that is the big thing right now that's happening is everybody's building up for Vegas. Vegas is going to be one to remember. I mean, this is going to be absolutely remarkable. 6th and 7th, Rio, we know about that. We're all building up for that. Everybody's already booked their rooms on this call. We don't need to talk to you guys about that, but you want to make sure you get your newer people obviously locked in. So every time they hear about roadmap, every time they hear about Las Vegas, they're getting excited, and that anticipation builds because you're first minute, not last minute building that. Booking the rooms never been easier. We all know how that works because we've all booked our rooms already. The power of the 10 ticket bundle, we all know that. That's how you really promote the big events. That's how you get a lot of people there, is helping people strive to get there. And I love this. I love this analogy about a promoter versus an announcer, because if you want to make the big bucks, we all know, right? We got to be promoters, because when there's an event going on, whether it's the Monday call that's going on. You know, tonight we've got the Monday 6 p.m. Spanish call, the first opportunity call. That's going to be big tonight. Afterwards, I'm going to be doing an English live presentation that many of you know of. I'm going to be doing, Danny's like, hey, why don't you stream that thing live for the whole company? I'm like, let's do it, man. That event is so powerful. All the Southern California leaders are building into that event, and that thing's got a lot of traction. So it's good for people, mainly in newer markets or emerging markets, to see that live event. But a promoter is somebody that's going to call, they're going to send personalized voice messages, they're going to send personalized text messages. Announcers just kind of send out text blast and hope that their upline promotes, right? And another thing that promoters do is they create a lot of excitement around events, right? An announcer, they kind of hope that people attend events. You know, promoters get people on the edge of their chair taking notes, right? That's really what a promoter does. An announcer's like, oh, you could probably just watch the recording, not a big deal. They really don't create that excitement and urgency. And I always say that promoters are chargers, right? They get everybody excited. And then obviously, you know, announcers, they wait for momentum, right? They wait for momentum. They're what I like to call them batteries, right? So we really want to make sure we're promoters. We're promoting big for all the events that are going on. The example that I always give is this one. It's kind of like baseball, right? Our business is much like baseball. I know we have a lot of women on, so I'll talk about softball. It's kind of the same thing. Is that follow-up process is about multiple exposures. A lot of people, when they get started, they say, man, you guys have a lot of Zooms. This is amazing because I can get my new people plugged in to another exposure, right? So, you know, that first exposure might be piquing somebody's interest, right? That might be getting somebody on first base, might be piquing somebody's interest. Like, I just got my hands on something I'm really excited about. You know, I'm going to be getting a couple people over at my house to talk about it. You know, I just got started, working with the #1 K beauty brand. I'm helping this company, you know, build out in the market, you know, leading that charge. And I wanted to invite you over to my house, you know, to take a look at this. I'm going to be, you know, showing people for the first time in our market, you know, the products that we're launching out here. Whatever it is, I know everybody's got their own system for inviting, but that might be just piquing somebody's interest. And second base might be getting somebody to a pop-up. It might be getting somebody to an opportunity Zoom. It might be getting a 3-way call. It might be a one-on-one Zoom, whatever it is. What I want you to understand is all about multiple exposures, right? That third one might be a pop-up, getting somebody to, you know, glow up, sitting down at a Starbucks and, you know, showing them the products, right? A product demonstration. And then fourth base might be might be the orientation, right? It might be a connection call, which is kind of like a one-on-one orientation, right? So whatever the case may be, it's all about moving people along the bases. It might be a product university, right? It might be a Thursday opportunity Zoom. It might be whatever it is, but we want to use multiple exposures to help people see the big picture. So we all know Monday, we got 2 big events going on. We at 6 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Mexico City time. Dora's on fire. I mean, when I saw her speak Spanish, I think we were in Guadalajara, Mexico City, my mind was just blown. I was like, what in the world? I'm like, this girl's brain is amazing. Like, I'm struggling with the English, and she's over here speaking all kinds of languages, right? So Dora's going to be on fire. Everybody loves hearing her presentation. Gabrielle is one of the fastest growing leaders in Mexico. So hearing her testimony is going to really excite people. Monday night, we're going to be doing that live event. That's going to be at 7 p.m. Pacific. I know for the East Coast people, that's like 10 p.m. That's like, oh my goodness, it's going to be hard to go to sleep after that event. But we've got these events that are going on. Obviously, we have the orientation Tuesday going on in English. Wednesday, we're going to have the product university, and we're also going to have an orientation, which you'll hear about in Spanish. That's going to be happening also on Wednesday. But Tuesday, everybody's excited about the orientation. Wednesday, the product university. Everybody loves the product university. Thursday, we're going to be doing Brianna and Katie Martin are going to be doing a reveal. Any of you guys that want to plug in, I'm doing a Friday training and he was like, you just open it up to everybody. If they want to take advantage of it, I'm sure it doesn't matter to me. Anybody that wants to take advantage, I'm going to be training on the first 2 chapters of your first year in network marketing. My favorite book that I've ever read. I've read it probably about 30 or 40 times. It's about network marketing, and it's something that, we've really built our business around in the past. So that's going to be exciting. So I want to give you today real quickly a director's plan, and then I'm going to fly through this training, but I want to spend some time on it. This is, I love to show director plans for people. And I'm going to show you just kind of a couple different ones here, but everybody knows as a team leader, we want to get our group volume up over 1,000 SP a month. That's obvious, right? I mean, you guys all know how it is. A lot of times you're like, I want to be a director and I want to be a director right now. You know what I mean? Like, okay, obviously we all do, but the key is to be a solid director, right? You want to have a director that's, that when you hit director, you want to be producing on a consistent basis over 100,000 in SP a month. And the faster you can get to over 100,000 SP, obviously, the quicker you can get there, obviously that's how you're going to get to 150, 200 and so forth and so on. But if your goal, let's say this month is to get to, obviously maybe some of your brand new team leaders, you're like, Tim, 100,000 in SP, man, this is my first month. Well, let me just kind of break down a couple different ideas. And obviously you want to structure your own plan, but let's take a look. If you have 100 members unlocking their unilevel, how much SP would that be? If you have 100 members unlocking their unilevel, right? That's obviously going to be 100,000 in SP. We all know that, right? And obviously some of you are like, well, Tim, I don't have 100 members. I've got 30, right? So, thanks for showing me a number that I can't hit. Well, hang on. That's just the beginning, right? But I'm showing you an example. If you get that culture established where everybody's getting that 1,000 in personal SP plus, right? We don't want to make our minimums or maximums, right? That's important because I guarantee you there's going to be people that just get right at 1,000 and maybe they have a refund or maybe they have this or that, or you never know what happens. Don't make your minimums or maximums. How many times do we know that, right? But let's look at it. If you have 100 members, obviously that's a no-brainer, right? Now, let me give you another example. And I'm going to give you an example that is very simple to understand. And let's say that our goal is 100,000 in personal SP, right? That's our goal for the month. Everybody knows that's what I want to do, Tim. I want to get that done. Might be, open line volume would be great. But if we've got a couple team leaders in your organization, wonderful too, right? We want to get everybody running hard. But if your goal is, let's say that you're averaging 1,000 in sales at SP at a pop-up. Now somebody says, Tim, we only average 500. Well, great, use 500. Some of you are like, I know I've got leaders on the team that are like, Tim, 1,000? Are you kidding me? We do 2,000, right? I think one of my directors in Canada, Leah Lavoie, she does like 3,000 at an average. So whatever your average is what your average is. Okay, it doesn't matter to me. You plug in those numbers, and if it's hard for you to know what your average is right now, just keep doing pop-ups and paying attention to what the average order is, and you'll find out what it looks like. But let's say your average is 1,000. It makes our math obviously easy. That would be 100 pop-ups in a month. So if you have 100 pop-ups in your organization that you've got going on, what does that look like? That if you have 100 pop-ups going on, bam, and everybody's averaging 1,000 SP per one, that'll get you there, right? And I know some of you are like, well, Tim, my organization's only doing 5 or 6 a week. Well, guess what? Let's start duplicating, right? Let's start teach, train, and duplicate. The magic is you're allowed to have as many pop-ups as you want going on in your organization. If you're working the business, obviously your team say working 25 days a week, that's 4 pop-ups a day. That's 4 pop-ups a day. So the key is to duplicate pop-ups, okay? A lot of you guys know I come from a home party planning, right? I mean, the company that we built, in skincare prior to getting started in Remont for 16 years, I was in a skincare company. And we would get at one point about 2,000 pop-ups going on all throughout the country every single night. We duplicated it because it's so easy to duplicate a pop-up, right? It's like anybody can do it, right? Doing a presentation, sometimes, right? People have got to get confidence and get kind of the flow of it. But a pop-up, you don't have to do a good job. The products are going to be the superstar. So it's the easiest thing to start duplicating. So you want to kind of ask yourself, how can we start getting more pop-ups in our organization to help us get to obviously director? And now you do some of this and you do some of the last plan with 1,000 SP, you can see if you've got, 50 people qualifying for the unilevel, that's 50,000 in SP. And then obviously if you're doing 2 a day with this example, that would be 50,000 in volume. That would get you to that 100,000. So I know that some of you right now, your organizations aren't doing that. And it's kind of like, oh my God, dude, we all got started at some point. You talk about Karen Kang, right? Everybody knows she's the pop-up queen, right? In Mexico, I got a guy, I call him the king of pop, right? And this guy's name's Alejandro. I call him the king of pop, right? Because this guy does more pop-ups in Mexico. I mean, it's like every night, pop, 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 pop. This guy's like literally popping like all over the place, right? Karen, you guys all know Karen Kang, the queen of pop-ups, right? The queen of pop. She does so many and she just duplicates it. And all of her team knows that they can do it too. And it just starts by you getting one a day going on, or maybe one a couple to every other day, or maybe two times a week, whatever. And then it starts to duplicate. So don't feel the pressure that you've got to do 4 today. I know that's not possible, but this is where we want to get to, right? This is where we want to get to. Okay. And I know that some of you right now, that's hard for you to wrap your head around. But if you've got 3 or 4 or 5 people that are presenting, that are doing pop-ups, that's how we're going to duplicate it. So we want to understand, first get, a couple a week going on, then maybe one every day, right? As your group starts to duplicate, right? And this is an average. I know on the weekends we do tons of pop-ups, right? Because, Saturdays and Sundays are always pop-up days, right? So just giving you an example to understand, if you've got 3 leaders that are duplicating it, that's 1 a day. You got 10 leaders duplicating it. Obviously you can do the math, but I'm just trying to get you to have a strategic plan on how to accomplish the goal, right? So real quickly, the 5 keys to following a duplicatable system. I'm going to share with you some ideas and concepts that I think many of you are already really well aware of, but I think it'll help everybody kind of laser beam focus, right? So first one is these are the 5 keys to following a duplicatable system is, how do you get to where you want to go, right? How do you get to where you want to go? How to get to where you want to go? The example that Danny gave in Singapore that I loved is he goes, if I flew into your, let's say I flew into your neighborhood, right? I flew into obviously not your neighborhood, but I flew into an airport near your neighborhood and I wanted to find your house. And I know some of you have heard Danny say this before, but I want to illustrate it again for everybody to bring it to the forefront of our brains, right? How do we get to where we want to go? Right. And I've heard Steve use this example too, as well. Right. Steve, national director, one of the major reasons why I got started in Remon was seeing his success and Karen's success. And it was like, man, you know what? This is magical, right? Because the thing I love is you could drive around till you find it, right? If I land in your area and I flew to an airport by your house and I jumped out and I rented a car and I could just maybe drive around until I find your house, right? It's probably not a very good strategy. Okay. Another way is to use like one of those map apps, right? The applications on your phone, maps or whatever it might be. The challenge with that sometimes is roads will be closed or something, or roads will not be there. I've been on one before and I'm like, oh my God, how do I keep going straight? Then the road doesn't go anymore. So sometimes that is not the best strategy. I think that isn't the best strategy. I'll tell you what I believe is the best strategy. If I flew into an airport by your house and I wanted to get to your house, the best way to get to your house would be to get into the car with you. That's the best strategy, to get in the car with you. Okay, because you know how to get to where you want to go. You know where your house is, hopefully. Somebody's like, obviously, hopefully, but we all know where we live, right? And I just want to illustrate that because when I got started in Remon, I wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel. I was like, what is Karen doing? What is Steve doing? What are you doing, Danny? I'm just going to duplicate it. That's the magic, is just find out what works and just duplicate it. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. So like, give an example, how do you get to where you want to go? A prime example of this would be what, right? And I love this example because this is so important, because when I got started in Remon, I wanted to follow in footsteps of the people that were already doing what I was doing, that I wanted to do. So why do I follow what works? Why do I follow what works? And the reason being is because I don't care about authorship. I'm here for the results. I'm here for the results. Results to me is the name of the game. I'm not trying to be the author of some invention of somebody. You understand? I'm just follow what works. And another reason why is I'm here for a paycheck, not an ego. That's the magic. I'm here for a paycheck, not an ego, right? I'm not here for my ego fulfillment. Doesn't come from network marketing from me. My ego fulfillment comes from my relationship with my wife, right? It's not what anybody in Remon thinks of me, right? It's what my wife knows about me. It's what my kids know about me, right? And that to me is that's where my ego fulfillment comes from. I'm not here for an ego. I'm here for a paycheck, right? I'm here to help everybody get a paycheck and serve people and help people, because that makes you feel good about yourself. But that's the reason why I'm here. I'm not saying I'm here only for the money. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I'm not only here for the money, but that's the main objective when I participate in business, is to get results, right? And I know that I want everybody to be able to win, right? It's not about my paycheck. It's about the goose that lays the golden egg. People always ask me, Tim, why do you serve everybody in Remon, not just your organization? And I go, are you crazy? The most important thing is Riemann, man. This is the goose that lays the golden egg. Whenever I'm building in a market, I want everybody to win. I already know I'm going to win. I want you to win too. I want everybody to win. Whether you're, it doesn't matter where you are in the company. I want everybody in Riemann. This is my community. This is my family. You guys are my family members. This is my company. And the goose that lays the golden egg has got to be the most important thing, right? We'll all be taken care of. But people will do what you do, not what you say, right? So when you duplicate that behavior, your organization's going to do the same thing. So people will do what you do, not what you say. So just follow a duplicatable system, and that's how you win big. So I love to understanding the system. This is step 2, understanding the system. Let's talk a little bit about that, okay? Understanding the system. It's super simple. What is a system? Understanding a system. I love what T.R. Becker says, right? Some of you guys know T.R. Becker. One of my favorite, him and Brian Tracy, right, are my favorite Canadian motivational guys, right? Whatever you want to call them, inspirational speakers, right? TR is a Canadian guy. I know I've got some Canadians on the call, and TR, his book, Speed of Wealth, he says a system is a repeatable process that produces a profit. A repeatable process that produces a profit. Systems are what it's all about, right? And the Riemann system absolutely works. That's the magic, right? And somebody goes, well, how do you win? How do you do your best? How do you become successful? Super simple. The system's the same. The speed of what you drive is up to you. The speed of what you drive. You understand? Imagine a freeway and imagine different lanes, and different lanes had different speeds in it. And say the fast lane is the Autobahn. You can drive as fast as you want, right? We all do the same. I do the same thing that Danny Bay does. I do the same thing that Karen does. I do the same thing that Steve does. We all do the same thing. We all do the same thing. We just follow the system. Everybody does the same thing, right? It's basically what? Use the products, talk about the products, demonstrate the products. Use, talk, demo. It's super simple, right? Change your face, change your finance. We just keep it simple, right? So the system is a repeatable process that produces a profit. And when you look at systems, the example that I love to give is this one, because this one really speaks to me, is understanding the system is designed to rank advance everybody to senior manager as soon as possible. That's the magic. Why follow a system? Because the system is designed to rank advance everybody to senior manager as soon as possible. So I love explaining the system because the system works. But to me, this is the system. And I love this example. Danny gave this in Singapore, and I was like, God, I'm so glad you said that. I wrote it down. I go, oh, man, I got to teach this. But you ever seen a marching drum? What are they called? A marching band, right? The drummers, bop, 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 right? When I got started in Riemann, I just jumped on the calls and I listened to Steve and I listened to Karen and I listened to all the leaders that were already here before me. And I just go, what are we doing, guys? What's the play? And I just said, okay, this is it. I don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? I wasn't trying to come up with my own way to do it. I was like, okay, how do we do it? What are you guys doing? And I'm just going to do it too. I'm going to pick up a drum and bop, 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 bop. I'm going to do it exactly like everybody else. That's how you become successful. Somebody goes, well, how do you do it fast then? You can drive as fast as you want. You're allowed to go as quick as you want. You can drive as fast as you want, or you can drive as slow as you want. You guys see that? In the slow lane, you can take your time. People can take their time with Riemann. Just because someone else is driving fast doesn't need to intimidate you. You go at your own speed because it's perfect. The speed that you want to do it is perfect. Okay, it's perfect. But this is not success in Riemann. And I know this is like a famous drummer. I asked my wife, I go, who's the most famous drummer? And she's like, this guy's married to somebody. I don't know what she said, but this guy's obviously really cool. I'm not trying to be cool. I'm trying to fit in and duplicate. This guy's one of the best drummers in the world. He's not duplicatable. But these people in that marching band are. You guys see that? That's how you win in this industry, is following the system, understanding the system, right? So understanding a system is what it's all about. If any of you've watched this movie, The Founder, right, with Michael Keaton, based on the Ray Kroc story, the McDonald's story, my favorite scene was whenever they went to the tennis court, right, and they wrote down all this stuff, and they were working on putting together the system, the McDonald's system. And when you look at the McDonald's system, high school students run the biggest franchise in the world. High school students, man. You go to a McDonald's and you're going to see high school students running the biggest franchise in the world. Why? Because of the system. When you have a system that everybody can follow and everybody can do and it duplicates, that's how you win. We've got the best system. You guys all know it. And how do you win? Mastering the mundane. I love this example. Mastering the mundane. because this is really what it's about. I fall in love with the process. I fall in love with the process, right? You got to have a love affair with the process, right? You got to fall in love with the process. You got to fall in love with doing this. I just love doing the same thing. And I love this example because in the movie Hitch, some of you guys saw that movie Hitch, right? I love this movie because in this movie, what happens, right? Will Smith is showing, I think his name is Kevin James, how to dance, right? And I love the way that he teaches them because he's just like, boom, keep your elbows here, do this, right? And that scene where he's teaching them how to dance, right? And that scene is so critical because to me, that's success in our business. You see, it's just like, boom, just keep your elbows at 90, right? Boom, right here. This is where you want to stay. And that's the magic. Like a lot of times people that have experience like myself in network marketing, when I come to a new company, I don't try to bring what I did in my last situation. I want to find out, what are we doing here? I didn't get involved in Remon and go, oh my God, we got to have a different launching your business document. We got to do our pop-ups differently. We got to change the orientation. Heck no. That's the silliest thing in the world. I just came in and said, I want to do exactly what you guys are doing. Show me what to do, Danny, and I will do exactly what you guys are doing. And it was like, boom, bam, launching this is perfect. And when I sign up a brand new person and I'm going through launching them, I have these printed out. I have a bunch of these sheets printed out and I just fill them out. Even if it's on a Zoom with them, I fill it out with them because I want to know what their goals are. What's your goal in the next 3 months? What's your goal in the next 6 months? What's your goal in the next 2 years? What's your goal in the next 5 years? What's your why? How important is it when you sponsor somebody to know what their why is? Heck yeah, that's the most important thing. Then we got to lay out a senior manager game plan for them. And then we do exactly what the orientation does. So the first thing we do is an opportunity, right? An overview, right? The Thursday overview that we do, the Remon review on Thursday. It's the same everywhere. The opportunity presentation is the same. Then the orientation is what? The same. A connection call to me is just an orientation one-on-one with my brand new person. And then a pop-up, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I just keep simply doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, over and over and over again. You guys see how smart I'm trying to teach you guys. And I know many of you guys are like, Tim, we all know this already. Stop. I want to give you a refresher because a lot of times when people get started, they want to bring ingenuity and creativity to the scene. I don't want to bring ingenuity and creativity. When I was in high school, my freshman year, I got good grades because I would sit next to smart people and I would just write down what they did. But in school, they teach us, oh, that's cheating. In business, that's called being smart. If you taste a Pepsi and a Coca-Cola, you'll see a similarity. I know they're not the same. I know some people are like, oh my God, Tim, they're not the same. And I understand. Okay, relax. But there's definitely a similarity there. When you taste a Sprite and a 7-Up, you got to be able to say, wow, there's literally some inspiration going on, right? A Mellow Yellow and a Mountain Dew, a little inspiration, right? So just realize you just want to duplicate what works. McDonald's had a system. Burger King duplicated it. Taco Bell, KF, everybody just duplicated what already works. You want to follow the system. You guys all know that. I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm sorry. But I love to talk about simplicity. Right? And the way I look at simplicity is to break out the big crayons. I don't need a box of 64 crayons. It's the one that has the 4 or 5 colors, the basics. Break out the big crayons. When you're in kindergarten, they have bigger crayons because if not, you'll break them. Break out the big crayons. This is what my mentor taught me. Use talk demo. Change your face, change your finances. KISS, keep it super simple. Play tag. How do you play tag? It's my turn. You run around, you tag somebody. It's their turn. Then you run. I mean, it's literally the game of tag. The better you can play tag and the more simple, nobody's reinvented tag, right? You understand? It's not like, okay, we're going to do tag a little bit differently. Tag's the same. Just play tag. Ignorance on fire beats intelligence on ice. Okay? Ignorance on fire beats intelligence on ice. And if I spelled intelligence wrong, proof is right there. Okay? And I'm pretty sure that I probably have some typos in this. Okay? And so fending off the scatterbomb, you guys all know my favorite book, obviously, is Your First Year Network Marketing. I have it in Spanish too. I have it in Chinese. right? I have it in Korean too. I got this book in all the languages, right? Not because when I got a big box of these came in, the Chinese versions, and my wife was like, when I was in Hong Kong, I was supposed to come in before I went to Hong Kong. My wife goes, "What did you buy these for, Tim? You don't speak Chinese, okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm learning, right? I'm learning." But I love that book, and in that book, chapter 6 is called "Fending Off the Scatter Bomb," and I'm gonna just highlight a little bit of that right now, because this book has really helped me out so much in my career, and I used to make it mandatory. Some of the leaders that worked with me on this call, I got leaders on this call that I worked with quite some time ago, and we used to make it mandatory. We used to make it mandatory to bring to events. So we would actually come to an event, and when we were training on it, we would say, all the leaders, "Hey, who's got this?" And all the leaders would hold it up. And then all the new people were like, "Oh, I got to get that book. Obviously, if everybody here has it, I need to have it." And it was just, we had created a system based upon this book because it's timeless. It's timeless training. I love that about Mark Yarnell's book. And Rini and Mark made this book. And this book is literally timeless, right? And what he says in chapter 6, it says, "Stay focused amidst distractions. The scatter bomb is a mental explosion that obscures the focus of distributors, causing them to stop using the system taught by their upline. Our business is a business system built on duplication. Our downline will do what they see us do. So if we diverge from what we know works, they will also do the same thing, and it'll cause confusion. New associates must be taught earnestly to duplicate our system and not deviate from it." I love that. I love that because it's so true. And he talks about the scatter bombs, right? That you got to watch out for. And I'll highlight some of them right here, right? The scatter bombs, right? You got to fend off the scatter bombs, right? Chapter number 6. I love that chapter. But the 10 scatter bomb detours, he calls them. Always changing the system, right? It's kind of like the guy over here reinventing the wheel, right? The wheel already works. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I just basically, I just use what works. Some people are going to try to change the system. Oh, we got to do this, and we got to do that, and we got to do this. And they've taken a wheel, and then they turn it into a square, right? That's not very smart. I just follow the system. I just follow the system and duplicate the system. You guys see that? So business without blinders. When you get started, you got to have that tunnel vision, right? We call it rhino vision because rhinos have no peripheral vision. If you've ever seen a horse, right, they'll have those blinders on. You got to put your blinders on. Don't worry about what's going on to the left. Don't worry about what's going on to the right. Worry about what you're doing. That's all I do. I just overbook my schedule. People ask me, "Tim, what's the secret?" The secret is found in my daily agenda, right? If you show me what you do on a daily basis, I'll tell you what your heart is. I'll tell you your heart. Do you have that leadership servant heart? Because I'm doing at least 8 presentations. Right when I get down here, my first presentation, the office at 10:30. Let's go. Right, I'm off to the HQ, doing one-on-ones all day. Right, because I got that event that night. Changing the system, that doesn't work. Business without blinders, you got to have your blinders on. Or changing the system midstream because you get impatient. I'm not having the results. Relax, just keep planting the seeds. Right, you can't plant a seed and be like, "Look, I'm gonna have the best yard in Southern California. I'm going to have the best yard. My wife wants me to plant a brand new yard." So I pull up all the yard that I got and I start planting a new yard, and I just plant one grass. And I say, once the bad boy grows, I'm going to plant another one. And then once that one grows, I'm going to plant another one. And then I'm going to plant another one. I'm never going to have a beautiful lawn. You understand? In order to have a great looking yard or a lawn or whatever it's called, a bunch of grass out front of my house, just got to plant the seeds. And you just got to keep planting and planting and planting and planting. And understand that's the magic. I knew that it was going to work. I knew when we got started, this was going to work. You've got to know it's going to work. You have to raise your belief system to a point where no matter what happens to you, whether it's negative, whether it's positive or it's adverse or whatever, nothing can knock you out of the box with this rebound opportunity. That's the magic, right? So you can't change this. You just keep following what works, luring him into other situations, right? Like you can't chase 2 rabbits. You understand? You can't chase 2. You try to chase 2 rabbits, you're going to end up with no rabbits, right? You got to focus in on what you're doing. There's nothing. Boom, this is it. Right? Nothing else. Like I'm all focused. Let's go. Diffusion by other leaders, right? It's like, "Oh, what is this guy doing?" Right? What are they doing? What are they doing? Don't worry about if somebody else is doing something wacky over there. Just do what works. Okay? A parasite mentor. He talks about that in the book. And that's like a guru that's never built anything. Somebody's like, I always say, if those that do it, do it. Those that can't, teach it. Somebody's like, "Oh my God, let me teach you how to do network." And I see it, man. I see it on my phone. You guys know, and then you'll have like somebody who's like, "I'm a guru in network marketing, and let me tell you what your upline's not telling you. You don't need to make a list. You don't need to talk to your friends." And I'm like, "You've never built anything. You are a parasite. Like I'm telling you, like you got to understand there's people out there that try to make money off of network marketing, trying to teach people something that doesn't work. You understand? They're called parasites. Focus in on the system. Follow the proven plan of action. I'm not going to mention, you know what I mean? I'm not going to mention people's names that are out there in the industry, but I'll tell you one of them because he doesn't do it anymore. But when I got into network marketing, there was a guy named John Milton Fogg. John Milton Fogg had a network marketing book that he wrote. I think it was called The Greatest Networker or whatever it was. And he had a Network Marketing Times. It was like the first network marketing magazine. And I met him in San Diego and I was so excited. I went to this training that I spent $750 on. I was 18 years old. I didn't know about the scatter bomb yet. And I go down there and I'm sitting there on the edge of my chair taking notes. And I met him outside. I was walking by and I saw him outside. You know, he was smoking a cigarette, and I went out there and I talked to John Milton Fogg, and I go, man, tell me about your success in network marketing. He goes, no, I never had success. This industry's tough. I'm like, what? This guy doesn't know how to do it, and he's never had success, and he's teaching people. That was when I realized there's parasites, and when I read this book, I was like, oh, parasite mentors, they're out there. Scatterbomb fever. There's actually people that are looking for a scatterbomb, right? It's like, oh my God, when is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? They're looking for a scatterbomb. They're looking for something to happen. What happens is in the system, one foot in front of the other. Don't look for a scatterbomb. Looking for, oh my God, once this happens, man, everything's going to blow up. It's like, no, everything's going to blow up when you put one foot in front of the other over and over and over again. Lack of structure. This is a big one, right? Is doing your daily method of operation. What is your at least list? What do you do at least every day? For me, I just overbook my schedule with money-making activities. Money-making activities in the presence of prospects. In the presence of prospects. My mentor said, major time on major things. Minor time, minor things. I said, what's major and minor? He said, major time in front of prospects. That's major time. I go, then what's minor time? He goes, everything else. Everything else. So we have to spend major time on major things in the presence of prospects. We call it what? Money-making activities, right? And obviously going alone in a team sport. You want to duplicate. You want to teach other people how to do what you do, right? You don't want to be the do it all. You're right. You don't want to be the do it all. You want to be the duplicate it all, right? Not a do it all, a duplicate it all, right? You want to duplicate everything that you're doing. Tell, show, try, do. Teaching other people how to do it. Tell them, show them, try it, do it. Let's go, right? Super simple. So unlocking the unilevel, duplicating. This is the fifth one. And I want to just basically, you guys all know this. We talked about it earlier. Unlocking the duplicatable, unlocking and duplicating this. You got to establish the right culture in your organization. This is so critical this month. This is the first month. Everybody's got to have that, blinders on to getting everybody up to that 1,000 SP, creating that culture. I always say, when you look at the culture in America, Chris Kim, one of his friends, right? My partner, one of his buddies, was in town from Korea, and he brought his little 7-year-old kid, and it happened to be Halloween, and we all got our kids all together, and we went trick-or-treating. And this kid's mind was blown. I mean, he was like, this is the best country ever, right? I mean, the first day you get here is Halloween. He put a Super Mario, that guy Mario character on and was knocking on doors getting candy. That culture is not there in Korea, right? So they don't knock on doors and get free candy from people, right? Here we do. That is a culture that's established you don't have to promote it. It just automatically happens. That's what a culture is. And I always talk about cultures are hard to establish. Like, how would we create hey, it's June 9th, man. Let's go out there and let's do another Halloween. It's not going to happen. But, when you look at the elf on the shelf, and if you that have kids, this elf on the shelf thing blew up. It's like a new culture that's established at every time that this elf on the shelf guy just absolutely made it happen, right? So the right cultures are easy to maintain, but they're very hard to create. Takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of focus, takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of repetitive conversations to be able to create the right culture, right? And once a culture is established, it's hard to change it. Once after a few months that we have this 1,000-point SP culture established in the organization, it'll just replicate automatically. We got to establish it this month, right? The right cultures are easy to create with new teams. When you're working directly with a new person, it's a lot easier when you open up a new line of business to be able to implement a new culture, right? And the right culture. It can be implemented easier with newer organizations than other ones that they're ingrained to doing things and being they've kind of set in their ways. So as you start to develop new lines of business, everybody right now is sponsoring brand new people like never before. That's what I'm seeing. Right now, the recruiting numbers are going through the roof. We're seeing right now recruiting at an all-time high because everybody wants to get new legs going. They want to go wide right now because of the unilevel. Everybody understands the wider you go on your first level, the bigger your organization is going to be on the sixth level. So everybody's duplicating and recruiting like never before and starting new lines of business, and everybody's on fire right now because they understand this moment in time will never be recreated again. So understand whatever you do will duplicate. Whatever you do is going to duplicate. If you're out there setting the pace, setting the tone, opening up new organizations, opening up new lines of business, what will your team do? If you're creating new team leaders and you're creating new senior managers and managers, what will your team do? But if you're in management mode and you're like, I'm going to help the helpers of the helpers of the helpers. It's like, no, your team's going to do that too. You don't want to be that person. You want to lead from the front. Do the right thing over and over and over and over and over again. And your organization will duplicate your behavior, right? If you're building new leaders and you're developing new legs and developing new lines of business, your team will do the same thing. Start sponsoring right now. That's what everybody's doing right now. Everybody's creating new legs. So once you understand, a manager or planner, if they get the 10 lifetime customers and 1,000 in personal SP for the calendar month, anything they sell or buy, personally, they unlock level 1 and 2, right? A senior manager, what happens? They unlock levels 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Team leaders and higher, they unlock 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what do we want to do? I like to give the example, right? We all know this example, but I just want to show you guys, if you enter as 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, that's if you develop 2. If you develop 3, it's 3, 9, 27, 81, 243, 729. If you develop 5, it's 5, 25, 125, 625, 3, 125. But watch the difference. If everybody on your team is getting 1,000 in SP, or excuse me, 1,000 in BP, I use BP because it makes the math easier. You understand? But if everybody's getting 1,000 in BP, understand your income. If you built that organization of 2, 4, 8, that would be 3,900. If you built a team of 3, that would be 33,000. And if you did the 5, you would be at 585,000. What? And I know I don't even like showing that to new people. I wouldn't recommend showing that to new people. That will blow their socks off. But we're all leaders on this call. You guys are all leaders on this call. I like to show possibility. Now, will anybody ever create an organization perfectly like that? I don't know. But the fact that number exists lights my fire, man. It gets me fired up. I want to create 5 team leaders, right? And higher. And they create 5. I want to have 15,625 team leaders on my I want to have that. I want to have team leaders like that on my 6th level. Do you guys see? That's what I'm trying to do over here. So just realize, how do we build an organization? Is we duplicate the right behavior, set forth in motion the momentum. So what do we want to do right now? I always tell people this, right? Challenge yourself, right? Pick at least one starter kit right away. Host 2 pop-ups a week, right? With at least 3 prospects at each one. And you do it for the first 4 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4. I challenge people to take that 1, 2, 3, 4 challenge right now. Let's go. Let's start duplicating. Let's start going after it. Let's start getting after it. First gear. Everybody's doing it. So call to action, super simple. Have 5 guests. Monday, we got the broadcast going on tonight. I'm going to be doing that at HQ. If you got people in Southern California, everybody's going to be there in Southern California, man. We have too much fun there. If you're a team leader, and we're going to call you up for testimonials. Since we're broadcasting this, we got to make sure we keep it under 1 minute for the testimonials, please. And then obviously, we're going to be broadcasting that, on Zoom. Thursday, we got Brianna, Katie Martin, that event. Get 5 guests on each one, man. Let's go. Let's challenge ourselves. Qualify and help 3 people unlock that. Get qualified and help make sure you get everybody qualifying for that unilevel promotion, right? We got to get that help 3 unilevel promotion. Register for roadmap. We already did that, but we want to get our team doing that. Obviously, create at least 1 senior manager right now. But this is the time. We are sitting right now in a time that'll never happen again. Well, where we are right now with Riemann, with this brand new 1,000 SP focus that everybody has, we create that culture right now. We are going to set forth in motion some momentum, helping our brand new people promote the products, enjoy the products, love the products. We are going to make this thing happen like never before. But let's make up our mind right now that says, hey, man, I'm going to the top. Right now, I know we got a lot of team leaders on this call, man. It's, hey, I'm going director right now. It's a decision. It's not going to happen overnight. You make the decision today, you're not going to be a director tomorrow. You ask any of these directors, this doesn't happen overnight. But when you make that commitment and you make that decision that nothing can stop you, that nothing can get in your way, over, under, or through, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to the top, right? I'm going to become a director. I'm doing it before September, the September event. We got time. We got time. I know somebody say, Tim, that we don't have a lot of time. We got time. But we got to decide right now that this is our time. This is our chance, that we can do it, that we can make that decision right now, that we can start sharing the business with more people, start leading by example more, by making a major commitment and giving it everything that we got. This is our time to do something great. Let's make a commitment in our mind. Let's make a decision in our heart that says, I'm going to give it everything that I got, Tim. I'm going to refocus right now, and I'm going to light myself on fire, and I'm going to lead from the front. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm getting everybody on my team qualified for this unilevel pay this month, man. I'm going to get everybody on my team doing it. We're going to create that culture and organization. When somebody gets started, man, we're helping everybody do it. And I'm going to make it happen like never before. So hopefully some of these ideas helped you out. I know I'm the last thing you probably want to do on a Monday morning is hear me get all excited, but I'm just excited and passionate about Remon. And I can tell you right now, where we are and where we're going is an exciting time. We'll be in 10 countries by the end of the year, Philippines, and all these things are happening right now. And somebody says, how do I take advantage of that, Tim? Well, go into your backyard, right? Build your backyard before you take it across the street. Start building in your community right now. Start having and duplicating pop-ups and creating that right culture in your area. And your organization will grow worldwide. So let's lock arms. Let's make a commitment. Let's make sure everybody wins. And let's decide right now that we're going to the top, over, under, through, that we're making it happen. I'm going to make it happen. You got to think right now, I'm going to go all out. I'm committed, man. I'm going to make it happen. And this is my time, my chance, my time to make it happen. And I'm going to make sure that everybody on my team unlocks that 1,000 SP. So appreciate everybody's time. Hope this stuff helped out. God bless you guys. Thank you guys. See you guys at the top, everybody.